Huh?
Let me link the. Let me tell my viewers that we're live.
Would you like a YouTube link for this stream? Here, let me send you a YouTube link if you want to share that with your viewers. Give me one moment. Here you go. Make it like that. Do you want to answer the donut? Someone tell me what the question was, please! Please, someone tell me what the question was. YouTube stream, it is up. Here. Bro's dodo walling? What's a good healer for Eula, Mika?
Okay, so is it on?
Yep, it is on, right? It says live.
Okay.
Yeah, it's live.
I'm ready. Let's go.
Let's go! We're back!
Oh.
How are you? Congratulations on your Farina video.
I'm fine. It could be better. I had a bit of a bad week. It derailed all my plans for this week, including my content. So I'm pretty stressed, but I'm fine now.
Everything's okay?
Yeah, everything's okay. Just busy week.
Okay, as long as you're safe.
Ooh. Yep.
Oh.
Thank you. Don't worry.
Job stress be like. Yeah. Congratulations on the Farina video out, by the way. It is great. Oh, we had a small scuttle because I questioned a graphical element.
Thank you.
That's...
Yeah, it's okay, don't worry. So we're going to talk about the...
What do you want to start with?
Leaks about artifact sets.
Yeah, is that what you want to start with?
Yeah, I think that's an interesting topic because I looked at it and to me, if I saw the same version you saw, that seems potentially a better version of the Ocean Clamp set because it produces damage that scales with investment, if I read that right.
That's exactly what I've been saying. It's a little bit interesting. I'll explain my interpretation of the set. This is the one I've been sharing with chat. So when you heal a single instance, that's the recorded, and that lasts for 10 seconds or 10 hits. After those 10 hits, the next heal instance is the one it grabs. That is my current interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
And then the recorded value, 4% of that is aggravate.
Yeah, I had the same interpretation, and my problem with the clamp set is that it doesn't scale with investment. So even though you can put it on healers on Farina teams, the impact it can have is limited if you're highly invested. While this set it might fit perfectly instead of the Ocean Clamp on the healer.
Which healer were you looking at?
What?
Which healer were you looking at? I'm kind of curious.
Oh, I meant the on-field, the teams with on-field healers.
Oh wait, with on-field healers? You meant like, you're thinking about Kokomi.
Kokomi.
Oh!
Yeah.
So, Kokomi doesn't have large heal instances for herself, does she? While she's on field?
No, I meant the current usage of the clamp on Farina.
Okay.
On Farina teams, where you just put that on the on-field driver, and it will produce damage. But since it doesn't scale well with investment, I'm not really a big fan. While this set, as a general pick, kind of fixes the problem in general that the clamp set had. And also because the flat damage it adds will be of the same typing of the attack, while the clamp set produces physical damage. So
I think the big criticism I have with this set is it's frankly just not good on most healers we have currently. It is especially seemingly bad on Jean. If the leaker clarification before they say, I don't know, I don't understand how this game works or how this set works, I have a job, leave me alone. Near direct quote. Part 3, I'll read this out loud. This artifact... I'll explain again to avoid misunderstandings. This artifact set records the team healing from a single team action, then multiplies this healing amount by 4%. Team-wide healing counts as one time. Can cap the buff immediately. This set does not record the total amount of healing from 10 separate heals. Please do not misunderstand. I am not going to respond to DMs for now. Your bro has a day job. Stop DMing me questions. My understanding of the game's mechanics suck.
These leakers are stressed, man. They need a break. Imagine that as a leaker, you get a lot of questions, like a lot.
Yeah, and a lot of questions you don't necessarily have the answers to, because this set is confusing.
Yeah, but my prediction is simply that it will be, like, in terms of how much healing it can store, worse than the clam set, because the clam set seems a bit more flexible in that regard, but the damage it will produce will be more flexible.
You respect... Someone who respects the leak being straightforward. The damage is... So what I calced was... So my assumption, I looked at it on Baiju. Because Baiju's single... His burst heal instances are 7, 8k. So I looked at 7.5k. Where... So if you do 10 hits with it maxed out and a bunch of hits with 7k buff, it's about 100, 120k damage per rotation. For most teams. Or characters.
That seems... nice. I haven't calculated yet because I literally saw this 30 minutes ago. But yeah, I basically saw it when you told me that you wanted to talk about it on stream.
Yeah, so, it's relevant. Let's talk about it. That's it.
Yeah, I agree with your interpretation with that. I think it can be better than the clam set for sure.
Yeah. So the baseline is that it seems to be similar damage gain to clam. The best clam utilizer currently are like TPS Kokomi and off-field Baiju. I think Baiju might be the only current relevant user for clam off-field.
Yeah, Baiju can use clam off-field, but the damage can fluctuate depending on how many elemental skills he uses, because the elemental skill for Baiju will heal the whole team, and that is the biggest contributor to the clam set in terms of total healing in a single instance. While this seems more flexible because in the first place it can scale up with investment better, and it's more reliant on the burst healing because it has more instances of healing. And so it fits better on teams where Baiju can use the elemental skill only once.
The elemental skill comment here, I don't think is correct. Clam has a cap of 30k healing. Any healing generated after you've maxed out the clam bubble doesn't do anything. So most of Baiju's clam damage actually does come from his burst. Yeah,
but I just meant that if you can use the elemental skill twice per rotation, based on the calculation I made back when Baiju was re-released, it does add like 20,000 more damage to Baiju per rotation or something.
27k?
Yeah.
Or 27k before enemy res. Yeah. That's correct, yeah. So yeah, what I was saying about the set, I like that it baseline seems better than clam for the relevant off-field clam user right now. I wish it had some better synergy with killers like Jean, but that might be intentional. Jean's burst... After Jean's initial burst heal, the heal over time ticks are 1/10. So she's not generating a very good buff for this set.
Yeah, and I think it would be nice with Mika, probably. Maybe.
I was looking at Charlotte. I was actually thinking Charlotte over Mika. Because her C1 gets procced by her burst.
Yeah, Charlotte too. Probably Sayu.
Oh yeah, probably Sayu.
Sayu?
I was actually thinking about Bennett. I think
Bennett.
I think this set will end up being better than Noblesse for Bennett when he's in Farina teams, especially.
Yeah, because now he has teams that don't necessarily scale up with no, some teammates at least don't scale up with the attack percent the Noblesse generates.
Well, the reason I was saying Farina specifically was because the healing condition. But when he does heal, if he does heal a character, even outside Farina teams, I expect the set to be very good. Potentially better than Noblesse.
Yeah.
What else what else were we looking at? We talked about Dory on stream earlier.
Dory as well.
She does have some large heal tick instances. It is interesting. To say the least. Am I forgetting any of the healers? Ooh. Also, this one's kind of funny. I can't believe they made a set for Farina's C6.
True, actually.
I'm gonna have to farm this goddamn thing. Oh my god.
Yeah, in general, I think it's nice for them to give a bone to healers in terms of offensive contribution. Like, of course, they already did this with Farina now, but to give an additional bone through this new artifact set, because they really were bare bones in that regard before, and that caused them to be undervalued. So it's nice that they're moving in a direction where healers can do more offensively in general. Because this will not only help healers on Farina teams, it will help them in general, in my opinion.
Ooh. Yeah, especially future healers. I have no basis for this claim, but I don't think it's unreasonable at all to expect them to want to sell you new healers who have better synergy with Farina and this new set.
For sure.
Specifically regarding damage potential from the set, if you were to theoretically max it out for every hit, I think it would still be worse than Viridescent and Venereer in most teams.
Yeah, I think in long term their objective is trying to sell healers easier, because historically they not sold that well, like Baiju, Kokomi when she first released. So they don't want to have flops with healers, I think, or at least not at the same level that Kokomi and Baiju were.
I think Farina herself, like, good job, Mihail. Pat on the back, you did it. I am anxiously awaiting the next 5-star healer.
Yeah, if Cloud Retainer is an anemo healer that can group up, he will be... I don't want to say must pull, but she would be a very good pull.
Specifically in the context of Farina asterisk.
Yeah. Yes.
But yeah. We'll see.
And we also got leaks of the other artifact set. Navia in general. Last time we talked about Navia being an on-field DPS, but from the few leaks I've seen since, it seems that she could be an off-field DPS as well, because I mostly seen things about the elemental skill damage, which didn't seem continuous, if I'm not wrong.
The leaks I've read is she has to be on-field to use her elemental skill, but her burst has an off-field presence.
Mm-hmm.
There's there's some leak that she'll have Geo normal attacks, but there are leaks that she doesn't. I don't know, it's inconsistent.
It's very inconsistent.
It is.
And
the preload should be going out soon, so we should hear Navia soon, unless people have completely given up on this character until Farina releases. I have no idea.
I think it's probably tomorrow.
You think
the drip? The leaks, like the drip is tomorrow, right?
If the leakers care, it will be out tomorrow. Allegedly, Barrow might not care. I have no idea, man. But allegedly, it's supposed to be out today or tomorrow, yes.
Yeah, usually it's not usually, but for the last 2 releases, it's been when the drip dropped.
Has it? I have not been paying attention to that.
Yeah, 2 days before the beta day.
We have, specifically for Farina, we had very in-depth descriptions before the kit.
Not in-depth description, but the full kit leaked on drip day. And the same was for Nubilet and Grizzly.
Yeah, I guess you're correct. Yeah, it's usually okay. Yeah, so maybe Navia tomorrow. Emergency podcast tomorrow. Do it again. Roll it back. What if?
Okay, so the thing that seemed interesting to me is that the elemental skill absorbs, for Navia, from what leakers have said, absorbs the crystals and deals damage. Potentially, isn't that nice for her as a Petra holder, potentially, if she can be an off-field DPS?
If she can be, yeah. Regarding the thing with off-field DPS, is she still Geo? So she is facing an uphill battle in usefulness as an off-field DPS?
Yeah, but if she could deal nice damage and also use Petra, I don't know. Maybe there is some potential there. But since they're releasing a new artifact set for her that specifically buffs her damage, I don't know. Probably Petra is not going to be the main focus from a design standpoint.
Actually, speaking of the artifact set rumor I've seen is after generating or picking up a crystal, I don't think it said which one it was, you get an attack percent bonus. After triggering twice, you get more attack percent. How do you feel about Navia being a complete departure from Geo as we currently see it, and returning to Ningguang's 1.0 design of this is attack Geo?
I think it's positive because I felt like the previous structure of Geo was quite inflexible, and Goro was nice, but he isn't Farazan level of instrumental for Geo, in my opinion. That
really?
Just like Farazan is for Anemo, just from a base kit standpoint, I feel like. And so for them to depart from the Goro-based team and to go to a team that can potentially use Furina, Double Hydro, things like those, I think it's more flexible for Geo and potentially it would be better.
What I've maintained regarding Geo is the problem with Geo is not Ito, Goro, Noel. It's Zhongli and Albedo. Zhongli and Albedo do not successfully provide an incentive to run an element that is not Geo.
Mm-hmm.
So the way that I've been suggesting adjusting Geo is to make a character who has an offensive incentive to generate crystals, or for crystals to be generated within the team, or crystals to be picked up. So let's say you replace Albedo with a character that does more damage, and that damage is triggered by picking up or generating a crystal. Or that will trigger, something like that. Like a Jingcho Rain Sword, whenever a crystal is picked up. That would successfully replace both Albedo and Zhongli and make them completely irrelevant. That's where I expected, or that Geo to go.
Yeah, I agree that Albedo and Zhongli were definitely the more replaceable ones compared to Goro in the Geo lineup in terms of usefulness for the team. I kind of dislike Albedo because I think his elemental skill can be very unreliable in boss rooms, and that tanks the particle generation of the team, and for a character like Ito, it is a problem. And that's what I meant by unflexible. I just think that if you try to run a double Geo and other elements in the team, then the particle generation becomes kind of unreliable for burst-based Geo characters like Ito. And so if with Navia we're seeing restructuring of the Geo team, where this centerpiece, Navia, can be paired with other types of units that are not Geo, I think that's a good direction in general.
I really like Ito, man. Regarding direction for Geo, I would expect Goro Geo teams to receive similar, if not a new DPS, some support in the future. I don't think they're going to get completely abandoned, but I think
it would have been nice. It would have been nice if they actually made an effort to make a full team of Geo units that were actually great and contributed to the success of the team. But I think they're not banking on releasing a full core of Geo units, like 3 or 4 Geo units that are actually good, but they're much more confident in releasing 1 or 2 good Geo units that can be paired with traditional overpowered characters like Furina, and because that just makes them much easier to sell.
Yeah, maybe. I did talk about this a little bit as a joke. This is technically a design direction for Geo we did have in 1.0 with Ningguang. So, from some standpoint, maybe there were this is a second Geo team. Most elements don't have one team the same way Geo does currently. So maybe they're intentionally fleshing out a second Geo team here. Maybe.
And as I said in the last stream, I'm a fan of it though, so I would have preferred if Navia was a replacement to Albedo, just a better Albedo. That would have been nice for Ito, who is a quite strong DPS character in my opinion, and could have improved that way. But it seems like they're just picking a totally different trajectory.
Yep, I'm not giving up on Goro, Ito, Furina, by the way. Goro will out-heal Furina's drain for Ito, but just Ito. So, you get some damage percent, you don't get all of it, but you get some of it. And you lose a lot of Furina's personal damage. It's probably better than Yellen anyway for the team. Maybe. Maybe.
Potentially. And it was also interesting to read about the new Forcer, that it seems that it's going to be a Virgin support.
That's not what I heard at all for Shiveru. The leak I saw was Overload.
So no, sorry, not Virgin, Overload. Sorry, I got confused. Yeah, it's Overload, which is I read some of the comments, and as somebody said, funnily, the best way to support Overload would be to remove the fact that it blows enemy away.
Remove the knockback. Yeah, that's why the Dendro reactions are considerably better. Overload technically does the same base damage as, well, Bloom. Not Hyper Bloom and Virgin do twice the damage. But they don't have knockback is the big point that I was making. Yeah.
But I think with Dendro, they already made that thing where they made these transformative reactions like Electrocharge or Overload. And they made a better version of those with Hyperbloom and Virgin, because you can control who triggers these reactions, and they're much more consistent as a result to build around. While with Overload, they're all, and to an extent Electrocharge, even though Electrocharge is better in my opinion, you could they were just on the side of the team structure, just a plus.
I don't agree with saying that for Electrocharge, but Overload absolutely. Overload was, hey, I can use an electric character in this team and gets a little bit of free damage. Cool, sounds good.
Yeah, it did say Electrocharge to a lesser extent, because there were teams where like Sucrose driver.
Sucrose, yeah.
But for top tier teams, I don't think that's the case. Like I think Electrocharge was still on the side.
Yeah. I've always been a big fan of like Kazuha, Yella, and Jingcho official.
Yeah, any chain reaction Kazuha can trigger will deal pretty substantial
so much damage. Ooh. But yeah, supposedly Shiveru will have 40% Pyro and Electro Shred. That is a lot of Red Shred. I wonder how strict the condition for that will be.
Sorry, Hydro and Electro?
Pyro and Electro.
Pyro, okay, yeah. Because that impacts or overloads damage.
Yeah, it also impacts burning damage.
Yeah. And unless she is a Nilu for overload, which I think is impossible, I don't think she will be that worthwhile, but it's fun. It's nice that they're trying something different with Forcers to make them more unique.
Yeah.
It's boring when Forcers are just downgrades to the 5-star variants. So if they can make these Forcers nice, niche, that's okay to me.
That's the reason I like support 4-stars so much. I find support 4-stars generally will age better than anyone who does damage. They're also more likely to be useful. I could use Beto as an example. Beidou is a character who is Electro, 4-star, does damage, has fallen off very heavily because there are just other characters who want her team slot. Examples for 4-stars being in more supportive niches, seeing a lot more play later. The big example is even Mika, who's going to see a bit of a resurgence with Farina or Shinobu, who is one of the 2 Electro healers and one of the 4 Hyperbloom triggers that you would use in a team.
Yeah, I like Beidou a lot as well, and before patch 2.0, so before the whole Raiden can't use Beidou debacle, she was a character that was actually very popular among Theorycrafters and also players, I feel like, because the pairing with Fisho and Bennett made her deal a lot of damage, even though there was always a bit of controversy regarding how many takes of the burst actually hit opponents in practice, because many assumed all the takes, which made her calculated damage absolutely skyrocket on sheets. Skyrocket in a sense, she would surpass every single other DPS in the game. But I think she was very strong, but as you said, she kind of fell off.
Yeah. That is, at the end of the day, 4-star characters who only do damage will eventually get phased out. I find support 4-stars to age much better these days. I think I like that direction for 4-star units. Even Jingcho, who's a character that sees a lot of play in a lot of teams, is having his position in teams challenged next update. Well, not even next update, in 3 days.
And tell me if you agree. When Yae released, many compared her to Fischl, but I think the more appropriate comparison would have been to Beidou. Because Yae is also a character that, for the most part, only deals damage like Beidou, but her kit proved to be more flexible on teams like Quicken, which made her age better than Beidou. While Fischl is much more of a diverse character compared to Yae, and I don't think she was the appropriate comparison Beidou was.
So regarding Yae, I think it's interesting. I don't think the 5-star official comparison is wrong. I just think they didn't make her do more damage than Fischl, unless Fischl doesn't have constellations, or Yae has constellations.
I mean, I just meant the community perspective.
Oh, the community perspective in comparison?
The characters. Like, if people just thought Yae was a worse Fischl, because she was a character that could deal off-field damage, but couldn't snapshot, and was kind of limited in comparison to Fischl, because Fischl could do more and more teams. While I think she's closer to Beidou as a character type.
Beidou also snapshots.
Not because she's snapshot, but because they're both just damage dealers in the electro element, and they have limited application, like compared to a character like Fischl, who can just do much more and be also a better particle generator. I think that the true debate was between Yae and Beidou, because for example,
are you talking pre 3.0?
I'm talking when Dendro teams came out.
Okay.
You put Fischl on those teams, and then you had another spot, and you had to pick between Beidou and Yae, and Yae won that competition with Beidou.
Yes. A lot of that.
But she wasn't competing for Fischl's spot for double electro quicken teams. In my opinion.
She is and she isn't. When you're playing Dendro DPS characters like Tighnari or Al Haytham, she is. Yeah. She very much is competing for Fischl slot.
Okay, I meant the double electro teams where electro is the main type of damage. So the double electro with an anemo unit like Kazuha and a Dendro unit.
Okay.
So the focus is on electro damage leaders. Like, the Fischl spot on the team is, I feel like, a given, and then you put this electro carry that can be Keqing, Raiden, Yae, Beidou. Like, the characters that are dealing damage, I feel like Beidou and Yaya are in that competition, and she shouldn't have been compared to Official back then.
She shouldn't have been great. I'm so today I do think I'm more interested in I'm gonna talk about today in the context of all the units we have available, meaning we do have Dendro healers like Baizhu and Yao Yao Kirara, because these characters are godsends for team building, for specifically that double Electro team. DMC and Kole were not it. Nahida works great, but you don't necessarily have a healer. It's not super friendly. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to talk about today. Context, we have the healers. Yeah, you do default to official Yai instead of official Beidou.
Yeah, but it's never, for example, Beidou Yae.
Yeah, it's never Beidou Yae.
Beidou or official Yae.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. And I agree that the factory release a Dendro healer was a godsend for that type of team.
Because, absolutely godsend for it.
Yeah, people underestimated it because they believed Baizhu is a downgrade compared to Nahida because he can be the same offensively, but he just allows you to put Kazuha on team, for example, much more easily, while with Nahida, if you want to bring a defensive option, you're stuck with characters like Zhongli, who I feel like are much worse in practice than Kazuha on that team.
Well, you're not stuck with Zhongli necessarily. You're stuck with using a defensive Electro character, which is Shinobu or Dori.
I'm in the same way. I'm not a fan compared to the much stronger Kazuha.
Well, I'm not saying instead of Kazuha. I'm saying the Electro healers allowed you to use Kazuha. That was the point of using the Electro healers. So.
Oh, so you mean?
So official Shinobu instead of official Yai.
You like that team?
I love that team.
I haven't ever tried it.
You've never tried it?
No.
Really? Oh, you gotta try it.
I would try it. I'll try it. You sound very excited about it.
I'm trying to be animated. No, I do love that team. Shinobu is a character who, one, her burst makes it very easy to swirl Electro in single target or AoE scenarios. She also has a very strong support kit in Instructor's Key of Khajnasu or even Zyphos. So this helps her a lot with closing damage difference between Yai Baizhu. It's not in favor of Nagida Shinobu, but if you do value Kazuha's swirls more than the aggravate damage from Yai official, it's very competitive.
Yeah, but this Yai official you're talking about is a Yai official team with, for example,
Yai official. Oh, Yai official Zhongli. I would never recommend that, honestly.
Yeah. My favorite lineup is Baizhu, Kazuha, Yai, official or Kirara.
Yep.
Kazuha, Yai official. I think those are the ones that I like the most. But I will check that team out, the one you said, because you sounded very excited.
Yeah, I definitely agree. On paper, for sure, it is Baizhu or Kirara with Yai official. That and Kazuha, that's the one on paper. But the Shinobu team with Nahida is very competitive. I recommend people try it. I think it's great. You can also build Shinobu for her healing, so it's very comfy. Does she heal as much as Baizhu? Not necessarily, but she also doesn't have any Aurek.
Yeah, it's a very underestimated type of lineup in general, because whenever people talk about Quicken or Dendro teams, it's not as mentioned as other teams, but I think it's a team that does very consistent damage, the double Electro.
With VD, yeah.
Yeah.
There is... I also am a very big proponent for double Dendro spread. One of the big things I like about aggravate spread teams, you have all your Hydros available on an account. They're very good for building for two sides.
True.
Hint. That's something we will be talking about later today.
Which double Dendro lineup you like the most?
Double Dendro? It's Al-Haytham, Nahida, Shinobu, official.
Yeah, because I hear a lot of people saying Itinerary is better in double Dendro Quicken than Alhaitham, but at Constellation 0, I don't think that's the case at all.
He always does less damage than Ellie. Like, always. Even C6 to C6, it's just, you don't need that much damage.
Yeah. Like, I just think he's very limited as a pick, as the carry of the team. I can understand him as the only Dendro unit on the team, so you basically run a double Electro lineup where the two Electro units are still the major damage dealers on the team. But if you're trying to maximize the damage your Dendro unit is dealing, I just feel Alhaitham is much better.
He is much better by the virtue of he does more damage, but by using Tynari instead of Alhaitham, the team doesn't suddenly become bad. It's just not as good.
Yes.
I've played the Tynari version plenty of times. It is good. It is still the way I prefer to play Tynari. I do not enjoy using him as the solo Dendro in a lot of cases.
Yeah, and it's also more AoE damage. Something funny I've heard about Alhaitham is Dendro Hutao. I've heard somebody say, like, people, Hutao in the sense is just deals single target damage, but in more than one occasion, his mirrors have dealt serious AoE damage, in my experience. Like, if the opponents are grouped up...
I've honestly not had this experience, but I'll take your word for it.
The fact that he can deal AoE damage?
No, not the fact that he can deal AoE damage, the fact that he can. Huh? I don't really understand, but okay. I'll take your word for it.
Somebody told me, I've heard people saying, oh, he just deals single target damage, but...
Yeah. For reference, Alhaitham is one of the 5-star DPS I play the most because of that not having much team overlap for second side.
True.
You put all the Dendro adjacent units on one team, and it helps a lot. It's very nice for team building. You have Kazuha available, you have Yelan available, you can have Jingto available. It's really nice.
And it's also one of the few teams where I don't feel bad using Zhongli on the weekend teams. I don't hate them. Like,
it's okay.
It's better to use Nobu and a second Electro unit, because then the Electro application on opponents which enables weekend is much more consistent. Because, for example, if you use Yai as your only Electro applier, then it can happen that some opponents won't have weekend applied on them, for example.
I don't think it's not just the Quicken. I was talking a bit earlier about Shinobu's support kit. She just has a good one. She has a lot of flexibility in her gearing for support. Even
she's for sure better.
Free to play, there's Sapwood Blade, which does also give an EM buff.
She's for sure better than Zhongli offensively on that team. I just don't feel bad about using Zhongli on that team as much as I do using him on that team, because on other teams, because on other teams you're probably replacing Kazuha with him, for example, and it just feels much worse.
Oh my god, it feels so much worse. Yeah, I respect it. Fair enough. Funny thing, if you have really low ping, I don't know what ping you play at, but Alhaitham's burst weight, you have just enough time to do a Kazuha Tappy plunge. If you really wanted to use Kazuha on an Alhaitham team, you can group enemies during Alhaitham's burst slightly.
Do you need one ping to do that?
I do it on 20 ping.
Okay, I will never be able to do that, sorry.
Yeah. The timing is extremely tight, but it technically fits, which is pretty cool. I wish that mechanic was a bit less. I wish that mechanic was less punishing. They should have just done, next time Alhaitham is on field, he'll get 3 mirrors.
Yeah, I usually just use that window to cast Fish Shield's odds or use Nahida's skill again, something like that.
Yep.
I didn't do something too intricate because my ping doesn't allow it most of the time.
Yeah. I try to use it to re-up instructors on my Shinobu. Generally with her burst, because guaranteed iframes, you can't get interrupted and miss your window.
Yeah, an instructor, talking about the previous healing set again, Instructor is actually a pick on these healing units that don't have much support going for them, and it actually adds quite nice amount of damage to the team. For example, on Hu Tao teams, on these Dendro teams. And so I think it's going to be an interesting debate between this new set and Instructor on healing characters.
Yep. Yeah, that was the example I forgot to talk about earlier. I was talking with chat, if you build Shinobu for her healing, you can get like 5k heal ticks on a heal set. That is respectable enough, especially with a character like Alhaitham who has so many multi-hits from his elemental skill. I wonder how... he also has a ton of damage percent. I wonder if this new set will outscale Instructors. I think it actually might.
Once we get full information of it, it'll be interesting to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it unironically... it is unironically better for active healers, probably. Like active character healers. Because they usually get more instances of big chunks of healing than team-wide healers do, like Jean. So characters like Shinobu or as you said earlier, Bennett might benefit more.
Big chunk healers benefit more than the small healers. Yeah, that's why the current description of it, I think, feels very limiting because of that. But I understand why it would be designed that way. It's also a restriction that Clam doesn't have necessarily.
Yes. Yeah, but the type of damage this set deals is better.
Yeah.
So I understand that restriction.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
So, you told me you wanted to talk about which characters to pull on for a beginner account with a set amount of pulls.
Yes. Here, let me share my screen for you. I have this set up. Okay, so these are all the characters that are guaranteed for free. These are the characters who are available on the banners in the 4.2 update. And this is the character in the shop. Did you see my screen share on Discord?
This whole thing prepared, huh?
Yes, I set this up ahead of time. You told me 30 minutes. I'm like, all right, I know what we're doing. I'm setting this up.
Great.
So this is an exercise that I actually completed. I 36 starred Abyss on a new account in 20 days by pulling on Navia Hu Tao. But so
back then, if you remember, you asked me which characters you would have to pull on.
Yeah,
the ones I thought were the best, and I said Hu Tao and Navia.
Yep. The interesting thing about doing it in version 4.2 is you have the fun little wrinkle of if you want Shinobu, Kirara, and Xiangling constellations, you got to pull for Aido or Sino. So I thought it would be a fun discussion. So we're trying to build 2 teams from these units. Let's say you can get 1 copy of any unit you want off banner, whether that be Xingqiu, Official, Sucrose. Is up to you.
Okay.
Or up to us.
So this account has no other units.
No other units available. No other units available. These are the ones that are guaranteed you'll be able to get.
So again, which are the forcers on Farina banner?
It is Charlotte, Beto, and Cole.
Okay.
So is it safe to assume we agree pull Farina?
Yeah.
So the budget here is about 300 wishes. So
and even though you might not have Jean on this account for sure, or Chi-Chi, or team-wide healers in general, but you should have Barbara. She's free at the start, right?
Yes, she is.
And even though we memed about Barbara being a pick for Farina teams, I think she genuinely might be a nice low investment pick. Like, she will do her job.
What would you think to play with Farina Barbara? Like, you have those 2 units. What else do you play? Kuki available? Kuki is available. She's on the she's available if you choose to go for either Aido or Sino. But yeah, she is available next update.
Yeah.
You also
maybe
get
some kind of weird quick bloom teams. Like if you can get a copy of Cookie, on the next banner.
Is that on team 1 or team 2?
That would be team 1. Like you can put Dendro main character there. and probably make a team that can do some damage in the abyss, even though it's from a more general sense, from a more high investment sense, it looks.
So what do we do second side? What are we doing?
Okay, so you pull for Farina, and maybe you pulled Charlotte. Let's say you went 2 full pages for Farina. You have Constellation 1 Charlotte. That is a reliable estimation, isn't it?
Yeah, you would have more. You would definitely have more than that on average. Yes.
Yeah, and.
Are you suggesting play a freeze team with Kaya and Lynette? Yeah, I don't know about that one.
No. Actually, I'm thinking about a team without Charlotte, because you pull Beidou too. You have Coley for free.
You have constellations on Coley. She's on Farina's banner, by the way.
You have Coley, Beidou. Official, you got a copy of her.
Okay, so you're using your off banner for official? You have a C0 official? Alright, C0 official. On the board.
And then, how the hell can you conclude that team? Noel driver on Quicken teams.
Yeah.
No.
Nah, not
that's not right, Kat.
Here's what I'm thinking. So we get Farina. By wishing for Farina, we also secure the shop Bennett. And we also get Xiangling Constellations by wishing on the second half banners.
Okay.
So with second half, we can actually build a decent enough Hyperbloom team. Also, we can replace main character with Kirara and get a shield going.
Okay.
So now, if we do it this way, we would have a team for second side, but we wouldn't have a team for top side. Which is kind of kind of rough. So, There's also the option of pulling Baiju.
You can potentially just put Ayato in the first team, maybe? And
who's the last slot?
Put Beidou in the second team.
Beidou?
I don't know.
Well, here's what
I don't think the second team is going to be strong enough, honestly, at Constellation 0 for all 4 stars.
Oh, that one... No, that one would be strong enough. Yeah, the double... I've... Double Dendro... Hyperbloom with a good Hydro Applier is very good for
I just meant Coley, Beidou,
Kirara. Oh, that's what you meant. Okay.
Yeah.
There is an interesting perspective of you can get Sino and Baiju, and you have Farina available still. Can we make teams with this? That's
a lot of pulls.
The budget is 3 limited 5 stars.
Yeah. You probably have to get lucky to get all 3 on a beginner account, don't you?
With 300 something pulls, it's actually average.
Oh, 300. Okay, 300 pulls.
Yeah.
I forgot that was the assumption.
Well, you could even get constellations on one of the characters if you wanted.
Do you think Lynette is worth assuming for these teams? I think she can be pretty okay at Constellation 0. She requires a shitload of energy. A Constellation 0.
Yeah. I honestly have not played a lot of Lynette. I don't know I don't know how useful this character is. But if you say she has a slot in some teams,
the thing is, she really requires a lot of energy of Constellations, so for a beginner it might not be that advisable.
Yeah, I don't know about.
So you
could load up one side.
We can try on the first side, Farina.
This is really bad. Actually, don't do this.
Farina. Some sort of double hydro quick book. Farina cookie,
double hydro.
Ayato and Dendro main character.
Wait, double Hydro Quick Bloom?
Yeah. Yeah, so sorry, double Hydro Hyper Bloom, sorry.
Okay.
It would be Hyper Bloom. Yeah, the double Hydro Hyper Bloom with Ayato
Oh, you want to put Ido here? Or?
and Kirara.
I don't think you have enough Dendro app to actually do this well.
Not Kirara, Dendro main character, sorry.
It's the same. You kind of run into the same problem if you don't have any
if you have
blooms.
Constellation Zero Kirara, you get a bit less, I think.
Yeah. She's on banner.
But
We
because
can get
Kirara does
comments.
a lot of instantaneous up, like with the burst, the elemental skill proc.
Where are the 300 pulls coming from? That's the amount of wishes you get from open world exploration. Just by playing the game, a new account can get 300 wishes if you play enough in one update.
So second side can be Sino, Lynette, Baiju, and Fischl.
You can't do that. You only get 5 stars.
Oh, okay. We have to remove Ayato.
You'd have to remove Ido, yeah. So wait, what was
Sino,
it?
Baiju, Lynette, and Fischl.
Lynette and I would rather have a C0 Jingcho than a C0 official.
You put.
I put Fremine. Whoops. I put but yeah, either way, I think I would rather have a C0 Jingcho than a C0
fair.
official.
That's fair.
Also
because Lynette can absorb Hydro, so it's basically a Hyper Bloom team with Lynette absorption of Hydro probably.
You know what?
Can
I try to draft something out?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so we do get the off banner. We're gonna say we get an off banner Jingcho. That's nice. I do. Yeah, I am gonna stand by this Ido team here. Kole Kirara with Shinobu, and then we do have. We could have Jingcho, or we could get Baiju, or we could pull for constellations, but we get C0 Shop Bennett, which is maybe a little question.
Put him there.
We get Xiangling constellations as well from wishing on Ido.
Yeah, some kind of bait team. With all the damage bonus Furina provides and how strong she is, that team.
You get Hydro Resonance here, and you do have C4/C6 Xiangling, so she's actually able to do a respectable enough amount of damage. It's either that or you do like a Burgeon. Or if you do Baiju, but by going for Baiju, you're basically forfeiting Xiangling constellations. This is also hinging on the pretense of you get Jingcho off banner, which it's fair. It's a fine assumption. You can get one copy.
You can also do Fremine Hyper Bloom on team 2. Fremine Hyper Bloom on team 2 and put Ayato on team 1 instead of Shinjo, maybe.
Wait, Fremine Hyper Bloom with no Hydro?
No, you.
Oh, are you suggesting Jingcho?
Yeah.
Oh wait, is this better?
It might be.
So who applies more Hydro? Like, the field time doesn't matter in the case of Ido, so it just kind of comes down to what applies more Hydro, Ido or C0 Jingcho.
I think single target it's Shinjo. Yeah, probably Shinjo because but in AOE it's probably. Ayato, the burst.
Ido applies Hydro once every time he normal attacks. He's applying Hydro 5 times, twice per rotation, and his burst is also applying Hydro 6 times.
Yeah.
Isn't that very similar?
Yeah, it's fairly similar. Yeah, in AOE, I prefer Ayato for sure, though.
This is a very comfy team, though. Damage reduction, healer, and a shield.
If you show them to casuals, they would say, "Oh, the second team is overpowered. It has the Shinjo, who is the best character in the game. Kugi, who is a top tier character." Wrong with that. That will smack the abyss.
Reroll until Shinobu. She's on banner. Scale-ish you. Look at this banner. Look at this gorgeous banner for these teams.
Yeah, and probably if we're contextualizing this conversation to what are the best polls for a beginner long term, then Aido and Furina provide for a nice core of units that can fit a lot of teams.
I think Aido's the character you bench nearly. I would think it's a shame Baiju isn't second half. Because I would say you would go for Baiju, but it kind of makes it hard if you want those 4 stars. Because at the end of the day, like, if someone wants Xiangling Constellations, Shinobu Constellations, they're gonna have to pull for either one of these characters this update. Otherwise, you might be waiting a year for them to come back. Almost like this was on purpose? Maybe. Jingzhou is easy to re-roll. The beginner banner only has 1.0 characters, technically. Yeah.
Can you get the Constellation to 5-star with 300 pulls? Probably, right? If you're lucky.
I mean, that's three 5-stars. 300 pulls would get you that. You just have no other 5-star, and you would have no Xiangling Constellations, and you would have no Shinobu.
So if you can get Constellation to Furina with Constellation 6 Beidou on the account.
Oh, yeah, you do get Constellation 6 Beidou. You do get the Shop Bennett. He is still available.
Yeah.
Who else do you play? You have Cole, Bennett, Charlotte, and a 4-star.
What's the third 4-star on Furina's banner?
Cole.
Okay. So if you get a high Constellation Cole, high Constellation Beidou,
I
think you can make a decent quicken team on second side. And with Constellation 2 Furina on first side...
Oh, for second side. So you're saying, like, second side dog drag? Second side is getting limped along by first side?
Yeah, you have Constellation to Furina, for fuck's sake.
That's funny. I don't think that works out. C2 Furina is the best long-term invest compared to any of the bozos, says Fire Mage in chat. You're not wrong. But yeah, regarding if you were to do a new account in the update and try to 36-star by the end of the update, I think I'll take the Aido Double Dendro Hyperbloom and then Furina Bennett Xiangling.
Yeah, that's the right two teams you picked before made sense.
Reminder, you only need to invest into Furina because you can sub Furina Ford Vape team. Unless you have a second Hydro character.
Yeah, it's a bit hard to visualize this scenario when you have a highly invested... when you just play on a highly invested account like me, but you're probably more prepared for this question because you actually tried this experience. This miserable experience.
No, it was fun. Oh, I had a blast with it. Really? This isn't miserable. This is a fun challenge. And the reason I wanted to do this with you because I thought it would be a fun thought exercise because I had done it.
Would you have done it if you weren't streaming though?
Would I have done it if I wasn't streaming? No. Honestly, do you want to know the reason why I did it? I had an argument about 4-star constellations being inaccessible for new players.
Okay.
And a C6 Jingzhou not necessarily being easier to get than a C6 Farazan.
Yeah.
So I decided to start a new account, and then it turned into that from there.
Pretty tough way to prove your point, though.
Yes, the viewers did all. The way I set it up as a community project for my stream and Discord community. Everyone would work together. I would give them the account information, and we'd all do the grinding over multiple people. So the account was being played 24/7. And most of the map was being cleared out.
I'm sure your viewers had a lot of fun watching you struggle.
It was good. Mr. Bison, Giga Chad, I need to buy him a Welkin and a Battle Pass in 4.2. Do not let me forget. Do not let me forget. But yeah.
Probably when you're a beginner, in general, targeting 4-star constellations makes less sense than just targeting 5 stars.
Really? You think that?
If you're a beginner, like if you're targeting Shincho Constellation 6 and you don't have any you don't have him at all, probably going to hurt yourself pulling for that many copies of a 4-star. Like, it's more reliable to focus on specific 5-stars, I think.
So, maybe I'm not the right person to ask this. I am a C1 Albedo owner from version 1.2's Albedo banner to pull for Fischl and Bennett's. Because that was also the first Bennett banner. This was the chance to get Bennett and Constellations.
Banner. I remember that. It was a God tier banner.
Yeah.
For
I don't think that situation is very different from this. But there are a lot more 5-stars now, and there are a lot more options. Counter argument.
Yeah, but
which is in support of what you were saying.
So, my argument is just that when you're a beginner, I think it's more reliable to target those incredibly strong 5-stars first, because you're more insured to pull them. So, Furina, I don't know if Raiden is considered a top tier 5-star anymore. I don't think so, because she's next. She's 3. She's next patch.
She's
like
4.3. 4.3.
So, for example, you're going to find yourself in the situation where you need to decide whether you want to pull on the Sino or Ayato banner for Xianling constellations, or you want to skip for Raiden. Like, what do you think is the better solution there?
Here's an argument. How strong are a lot of 5-stars without 4-stars constellations, or owning 4-stars? Because you don't have an infinite roster of characters. You don't have C6 Special. You don't have Nahida. You don't even have C1 Bennett or C4 Xiangling for Raiden. You don't have C6 Jingchao. You don't have Kazuha for Aggravate.
Yeah.
Or Sucrose.
Just think that, for example...
that would be
Lyney, right?
Yeah, that would be my argument against Raiden. Raiden can't do much with nothing around her.
That's true. Like, I wasn't saying like Raiden is a top tier character right now. Like, I was just asking you, what do you think about it? Yeah. What do you think about her? Like, will she be a must pull for a beginner?
No, I honestly don't think so. Shinobu was on the banners before. Regarding Hyperloom teams, you can pull a 5-star, or you can get a 5-star you might use instead of 4-stars you might never use, and you get healing in your team, which will make you clear much more consistently.
I agree that Raiden, especially for a beginner, is not a must pull, and I think actually Ayato, as I said earlier, opens up for easier teams to build and to clear the base the quickest on your account than, for example, pulling Raiden on a beginner account.
Oh, there was one thing I forgot to mention. Ooh, this is important. Hold on. I was gonna pull up the Abyss layout. Because we're talking about clearing Abyss. We didn't even look at the layout. It is this. Do you see this? Is this legible?
Yeah, seeing this.
Yeah. The Pyro Mages, Dendro Semitrial, Rift Hounds. This is a very AoE chamber with a bunch of Pyro enemies. And then there is Simon, second side is Simon, Jade Plume, and Coppelia.
Wow, Irish Shields and Wolves. Surely that's not meant for a character that is coming out the next patch, right?
Or character came out this patch. He spins a lot.
Okay, so picking a Furina team on first side and then
that's what you think? Okay.
On the Big Bloom team you said before on second side makes sense.
The problem with that kind of team second side, the Jade Plume Terror Shroom is 70% Dendro res.
Well, Furina would need to carry first side there.
Yeah, Furina would really need to carry first side. It's also a 3-wave chamber, and you have no grouper. So I don't know how much you're carrying. Switch sides for Terror Shroom, you could definitely do that. That you could absolutely do.
But I would imagine most beginners to actually be able to clear the base on their first month. Like, if you're a player like you who knows what he's doing, like, it's possible.
Yeah.
But maybe the best advice for a beginner would be for the longer term.
Well, regarding longer term, I do think
So-
4-star constellations are essential. I don't think it's wrong to pull for 4-star constellations.
Mhm.
So the original
Doesn't matter,
plan.
you're speaking with someone that had
Yeah.
to pull 460 times to get
Four?
Constellation 6 Farazan.
Oh, nice! Congrats! Constellations are Ito. Which banner did you pull for Farazans on? Was it Ito or Wanderer?
Yeah, Wanderer.
Okay.
I got Constellation 3 Wanderer before I got Constellation 4 Farazan.
Wow. So what did you do for the rest of the Farazans? Did you pull on Wanderer still?
Yeah, I kept
Okay.
pulling on Wanderer.
So
Like a dumb ass.
wait, what constellation is your Wanderer?
No, now it's Constellation 3. Luckily, I pulled the remaining copies.
Oh, you pulled the rank copies
after.
on the rerun? Okay.
No, on the same
Okay.
run.
Okay. So you just got lucky enough to get them. Okay, that's thankful at least. Oh my god. Imagine. I have a C6 Wanderer. Oh, my Farazan, she's C4.
I remember back then you were trying a lot of Shao and Wanderer teams, and you liked Shao with Farazan a lot. I remember
Oh my
you
God, yes.
testing Shao a lot, and also we witnessed the fall of Jean Constellation 4 on these teams. Because Jean Constellation 4, from a calculation perspective, she was
great
by
on
far.
paper.
by far.
I was really
best.
disappointed.
Yeah. Which was by far the best option on paper, but in practice, oof.
Yeah. Look, Jean's getting another shot. Round 2. Round 2. 3 days. Be there.
Historically, Jean, my experience, doesn't have the best history with teams that theoretically can do just as much damage as variants with characters with better utility like Kazuha, but have Jean on it. Like, historically, she doesn't have the best track record.
Yes. Well, if it's Wanderer is the example, yes, absolutely. Even outside of
Raiden
Wanderer,
Sunfire.
Jean.
Raiden Sunfire.
Oh, Raiden Sunfire. Oh my god. No, I was gonna mention that Jean has a history of being a very bad character. But
Yeah.
that works. That's much more positive that way.
Are we gaslighting the poor viewers with the Jean?
Recommendation. At the end of the day, Jean's very simple. You build ER, you put her on VV, and she'll heal you. That's the reason I've been like kind of defaulting to Jean. I do think regarding Farina, Baiju is theoretically a lot more damage for teams because of Clam and Dendro being comparable to what she gives.
Mm-hmm.
It's mostly just the Clam damage that he can do, putting him ahead. But there are very heavy practicality questions with Baiju. Even in regards to Niviolet, whenever you do like Baiju elemental skill burst, you're wiping Dendro Aura, and if you even do an N1 on Baiju, you're applying a Dendro Aura, which can just brick your Kazuha in a lot of rotations.
Yeah. Yeah, that
is my major concern with that. And then in the case of vape teams like Hutao and Yelan, if you get burning, it's extremely grief. Thankfully, you get board vapes from Yelan or Farina, which make it not as big of a DPS loss. Kind of, sort of. It's still a pretty big one.
I mostly looked at Baiju on teams where his Dendro application couldn't be an issue. So, Sino Quick Bloom teams.
Sino, yeah.
I think her Nuvillette is kind of safe, maybe. It should be.
I really want to say like Nivillette, Baiju, Farina, Kazuha. That's the one you play.
Maybe.
I need to see how people play it in practice because I think it's too easy to grief yourself. But theoretically, on paper, it is the most damage.
It's that or Cookie or Charlotte. For Charlotte, there is the problem that against bosses, the Cryo Aura will just dismantle the Hydro Aura, so it might be hard to swirl Hydro with Kazuha in some instances.
At least Charlotte doesn't apply much cryo.
Yeah, I guess with 2 Hydro units on team, you should be fine.
I do like Shinobu in that team, just so you get Electrocharge swirls. It's something that we talked about at the start, like 30 minutes ago. Electrocharge swirls, like Chain Reaction Kazuha, it's fucking incredible damage. So just
it is meaningful.
On that alone, I think Shinobu can stand up as a strong healer recommendation for that New Violette team.
Yeah, technically that can surely work. Also considering that New Violette will supply you of the stacks you'll be missing by using technically weaker here compared to team-wide options.
It's not even just... Well, it is that, but also you could build it for healing. You can't perfectly out-heal New Violette's self-drain, but you can get very close to it to the point where you're proccing 3 Endless Waltzes per New Violette charged attack, not counting the one he procs himself, which would make it 4, which does theoretically provide a lot. That's a lot of the healing up just right there. It's very nice. It's nice. Okay.
Yeah, offensively, probably that is going to be the best option, like using Cookie as a healer. But we'll see.
We'll see. But yeah, regarding the idea of like the new account speedrun challenge,
we totally diverged.
Yeah, we totally diverged. Great. Which is good. That was a good conversation. Thank you. Yeah, I do think this is one side that you would play, and then your second side, maybe you pull Farina C1.
But in this scenario, is there a case where you just miss pity and get one of the original 5 stars?
You do. This 300 pulls will get you 4 or 5 stars, technically. So what happened with the account that when we did the challenge? You also get 1 standard banner 5-star, by the way. That could either be a weapon or a character. It's like a 50-50. We have C1 Kutsing, C0 Dehya, C1 Niviolette, and Hu Tao. Those were the 5 stars we got.
Yeah, but it's too vague to predict all of that, I think. Yeah. Like, if you pull Kaching, maybe you can do Quicken team, second side.
I think Kutsing Quicken is an aggressively bad thing to in this case. We got C1 Niviolette? Yeah, I did say C1 Niviolette. Did I mistake? Did I make a mistake? Did I not say that? Sorry. The rumor for 4.3 is Raiden, Navia, and then either Albedo, Ayaka, Ito, any of them. You were tested. Someone in chat was testing Hu Tao, Kokomi, Kole, Dendro main character. From what they saw, it was kind of hard to get a burning aura going, despite you apply more than them. Baiju applies once every 1.5 seconds, yeah?
Yeah.
Dendro main character applies every 3 seconds?
Yeah, yes. Then the internal cooldown and yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Baiju applies like twice the amount. Unless I'm misremembering.
Yeah, wait. I'm not sure about this.
Compared to Dendro main character. Wait, how much? No, I think that is correct. It's over 12 seconds, 8 Dendro up. Yeah. Baiju is 1.5 seconds, isn't he?
Isn't it 2.5 seconds?
Isn't that just the shield?
Yeah.
I thought the damage / heal tick was every 1.5. Or every 2. Is it every 2? If it's every 2, it's not double.
Okay, it's every 180 frames.
1.5. Wait, no, it's 2.5. Wait, really?
Yeah, I'm checking the hit marks on Kaching mains library.
180 frames out of 60? Wait, 180 is 3 seconds. That's not right.
These are the hit marks. I'll send them to you.
That doesn't sound right at all. I'm just gonna check in game.
Yeah. These are the hit marks they have there.
Where's the chicken? Not the chicken. Where's the bis?
Let me check my clips on it. Probably have some Baiju clips around.
Every time Baiju's shield breaks or is created, another attack comes out. Does it have to break? Does he not just do damage?
Yeah.
One,
I think
two,
that is correct.
3, 1, 2. Right. It is every time his shield breaks, or every 3 seconds, because it refreshes itself. Wow. Okay, so it's fundamentally inconsistent. Wonderful. What?
Because
It's 2.5 seconds
on the same tier as Dendro main character application, sort of like Baiju applies a bit more, but yeah, that seems correct.
Bruh. Interesting. I know he does regarding pre-post release. I know he did apply more, but yeah, I guess his Dendro app is fundamentally inconsistent. Wonderful.
Yeah, and it's 180 frames because after the shield breaks,
there's an animation time.
The attack gets cast.
Yeah, that's whatever though. Because that's well, yeah, okay.
Yeah, but still, if you do the burst and then a normal attack, you would still delete, for example, the Hydro Aura with Baiju, probably.
No wonder sometimes you miss app. What a fantastic design choice. Let's make it dependent on the player getting hit. Good job. It's the same with Koi EQ. Koi EQ has a timer rule.
I think the shield refreshes anyway.
The shield refreshes itself anyway, but also apparently if it applies Dendro whenever it breaks, that's it. It break and create, so the damage can theoretically, or his Dendro instances can theoretically double, which is where I would have gotten the 1.5 from. Ugh.
Yeah, but after it breaks, you still have to wait some time for the shield to regenerate, and then get additional time for it to break again. So
do you?
When in the state, Baiju will generate a new seamless shield every 2.5 seconds.
Yeah, he generates one every 2.5 seconds. That doesn't get reset when it breaks.
Yeah. So, for example, it breaks.
So, if it breaks, that's 1 damage proc, and then add the 2.5 second, that's another damage proc. So it's double the damage procs.
Yes.
So, yes. If you... Huh? I'm confused. I'm confused.
What?
What? If the...
Every time I don't understand something, I think I lagged.
Okay.
Like
I said I'm confused. So yes, he does generally apply Dendro more frequently than the minimum.
Yeah, it's better application than Dendro main character, but not too much, I guess.
It'll be interesting. It'll be definitely
be
something to test. Because regarding the vape teams, he nukes the Hydro Aura, which means you can theoretically apply a Pyro Aura, which can throw off a lot of stuff pretty easily. Yeah. I mean to say if the shield's broken at 2.4 refresh it. No, I don't mean that's not what I meant to say. But that is a situation that can occur. Yeah, you can get a Dendro Aura that way as well. But yeah, Baiju is something to look out for with Farina teams. I'm just not sure how good it will be. He's theoretically very strong. Do the Twitch?
Yeah. It's an option. Like I don't want people to think that they have to pull for Baiju now that
Oh,
Furina is
no.
out. Because I've heard a lot of people actually being afraid of that. Oh, now I have to pull for Baiju. I don't want to, but it works well with Furina. And that is not the case.
Yeah, he also... Yeah, absolutely. Baiju, whatever. Shinobu is available literally on the next banner. Baiju, he seems very niche. Even though he seems like he can also be used generally. I
think you get Charlotte on the same banner. The fact you get Charlotte on the same banner as Furina, and you get this cryo unit that at the end of the day can be used on a lot of teams as a neutral option, I think.
What is her Yarek in a team with no favs where she's the only cryo character without C4?
Yeah, and it's very high.
What is her Yarek? Like, what are her Yareks? Do you know off the top of your head?
Like, I think it's upwards of 240, 30, like in realistic scenarios. Like as the solo cryo, can get higher.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah.
It's a shame. I don't know if Charlotte's very useful outside of teams with 2 cryo characters.
Solo cryo, 1 Favonius, yeah.
Yeah.
Although, yeah.
I think she's gonna see a lot of cool usage with Risley, Ayaka, Ganyu. I don't know how much we'll see her outside of that. We'll see.
Well, at the end of the day, for general use, you can put Favonius on her, then energy recharge stands, and
you can definitely make it work in a pinch.
I guess throw a Hail Mary.
Yeah. You could do a 25-second rotation for Rena Barbara, or 28-second rotation for Barbara E-Skill.
Oh, we're landing in meme territory again. Nice.
TTDS Barbara, let's go!
No. TDS on both for more consistency.
That is the other thing that really annoys me about Charlotte. Why is she an attack healer?
Why is she?
Why is she an attack healer? Bruh. They also forgot to give her a base attack stat, by the way. Yeah. Sack Barbara refresh skill. Ooh. That doesn't... Does her skill even give Barbara energy? I don't... Does it? I don't think it does. Yeah, there's no actual reason to use Barbara's skill. Quality.
By the way, for Furina teams, have you looked at Dehya Vape?
Dehya Vape? It's similar to D-Luke.
Vape.
It's like the same as D-Luke, isn't it? It's fine.
I looked at Furina, Jean.
Oh, you looked at
Bennett.
Oh, you looked at Ford Vape?
Yeah.
Oh, this I have not looked at. Tell me about it.
Sorry, probably not forward vape. Like I always get confused with what forward vape means by the interlocutor. I guess forward vape you mean the hydro vaping, right?
Yeah, that's Ford Vape.
No, I meant Dehya vaping.
Wait, what's the team?
Furina, Bennett. I guess you can put Kazuha, but
you said Jean, right? You're not vaping it. You're not vaping any of Dia's damage. It's on fire.
Yeah.
You're applying 2U pyro every 10 seconds. Or every second for 10 seconds.
I did with Jean, and I didn't estimate the team to be an improvement to over Monopyro Dehya, for example, because of the exact problem you talked about. With Kazuha, it can be an improvement, but
one moment.
It won't save the DPS.
Okay, sorry about that. So what did you say about Monopyro Dehya?
The variant with Jean won't be an upgrade over the Monopyro Dehya teams for the exact reason you said. With Kazuha, it can probably be an upgrade, but I don't know. All of these teams with Furina and an active healer like Bennett or Cookie, I think they have to be tested in practice.
Here's what I was thinking about. Where is he? I was thinking about Xiangling Lyney Bennett Farina. That's the thing I've been throwing around in my head.
Ling, Bennett, Farina?
Xiangling Bennett
Oh.
Farina.
Have you
And
calculated
Lyney.
this?
I have not calculated this because I don't feel comfortable making guesses about the aura
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
But I expect to try this team, and I expect it to not be bad.
Well, you put Farina, Bennett, Ling, Lyney in a team. It's probably not going to be bad. But
Well, Lyney can
is it going
stand
to be, is it going to be better than Monopyro Lyney?
with Kazuha,
Mm.
potentially. Xiangling does supply shred for the team. Get
True.
one shot every other try. True and based, but Lyney does help with the fanfare
Yeah,
generation
but
as well.
Farina's shred is on the Goba attacks, right?
Xiangling shred is C1, and it's on Guoba, yes.
Mm.
Whenever Guoba hits an enemy, he shreds for
Do you
5
think
seconds.
do you think that's very consistent? Like in a multi-enemy scenarios.
No, not at all. But I think it'll look very pretty on paper.
It is an option, I guess, for Lyney.
Yeah. He generates fanfare, and he also pops himself below 70. So Bennett will heal more often.
I think I like the scenario where they made Lyney as a character that doesn't need any future character to work well. Like he has his team, and it works very well in my opinion. And I think that's the direction they.
What is
took
the
with
Lyney
it.
team? What is the Lyney team you find the best? I'll ask.
I only find the Lyney team with Xiangling, Bennett, and Kazuha to be the really super great one.
Some people like
The other-
Zhongli.
Is the variant with Zhongli is good, but I just like the extra damage you get with Kazuha much more.
Just
way
like
more.
the grouping.
Like, it's true that if you get hit with Lyney, you will get knocked off. But I don't know. I like the damage this team deals.
Yeah, I like it too. You're also not as dependent on doing Lyney's charge attack. I put out a community poll. What's your opinion on this? I asked people, would they rather solo topside with Lyney or Ganyu?
Lyney for sure.
You'd rather do Lyney solo than Ganyu solo? Topside?
Probably.
I think I would too, actually.
It just feels much better to use without a shielder to me.
The only problem with that I would mention, Lyney's passive doesn't function when he's the only character in a team.
Yeah.
So
but,
he's minus a lot of damage.
Yeah. It's not like you're putting him against a juggernaut here. Like
Yeah.
solo Ganyu, it's not like.
Oh, he
not
does.
shit,
No,
like-
you know what? He baseline gets 60. Yeah, that's fine. I was under the impression it required one
Yeah,
to even
you
get 60.
You get
Yeah,
60.
that's fine. Yeah, I'm
That's
gonna
100.
confidently say Lyney then.
Yeah, in general, Lyney with a shielder to me is much better than to play than Ganyu with a shielder.
Okay.
I think his taunt is more consistent than Ganyu's, for example.
He certainly places a lot more of them. That helps.
Yeah.
Yeah, the reason I asked this question is you saw I was doing endurance streams. I've basically been streaming all weekend. There was one viewer base where the guy goes, I need help on floor 11. So I played a level 80 Lyney, talent level 655, with a ungeared Xiangling, Bennett, and Toma. And all of the other characters besides Lyney died, so I was just playing Lyney, and I beat Navia and Vivian with just Lyney. And then I was like, alright, I think I can clear floor 12. And I played Lyney solo, essentially, on all the way up through floor 12, and got a clear. We cleared. We got 5 stars. We missed 6 stars by like 2 seconds. I didn't want to reset for it.
Nice.
What is that? True story. Oh, really? Yeah, that happened. The only semi-built characters on this account were Lyney and Navia. So it was essentially solo Lyney top side, solo Navia bottom side. And I got a clear.
That is quite popular.
But he, in terms of like his solo DPS, I think he is the highest DPS solo character.
Yeah, it's popular. Like I've seen it is on the Spiral Abyss stats. It's actually a pretty popular thing in terms of usage rates.
So here's the thing about that. It is an inherently flawed usage rate. Statistical sample. It is the same population for every time. So it's the same players doing the same things with the same units. It's also for one day of Spiral Abyss is when they collect. They only collect on the first day. So it's not actually getting information from players who are struggling.
Yeah, I don't doubt that, but I have not seen a lot of teams with just one units on those rankings ever.
Yeah, because it's coordinated, and they're like, yeah, wouldn't it be funny if Navia solo is the most used team on our survey? It's also, you have to opt into it, so there's response bias as well. It's a heavily biased metric. I think it's...
Yeah, it is biased.
I think it's borderline useless.
Mm-hmm. Just found it funny to actually see that as a team ranked among the most used teams.
No, yeah. It is funny, I just think it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, that doesn't mean that solo Navia is one of the best Navia teams for sure. That's crazy.
Yeah. The fundamental principle of statistical sampling is random, yes. Or it's to get a random sample from a population, not use the same sample every time. Ooh. But... yeah.
We're talking about Lyney, and I want your opinion on this.
Okay.
I've heard a lot of Lyney Hu Tao comparisons. What's your stance on it? How would you compare them? Do you think Lyney is better? Hu Tao is better? What do you think?
Huh? Why am I being asked this?
Huh?
What do I think is better? I can tell you I've done a lot of Lyney calcs. He's not very competitive unless you're an actual god.
And then playstyle wise,
just damage wise. Just straight up damage wise. You have to be a literal Lyney god and have frame perfect charge attacks to do competitive damage.
In terms of calculated damage, I totally agree. I also did these calculations, and Hu Tao generally just deals much more damage on a team-wide scale as well. But
I enjoy playing Lyney a lot. He's very fun. I find myself.
But you think Hu Tao is better?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you wanted my opinion for DPS characters who I think very highly of right now, Alhaitham, Hu Tao, Lyney, somewhat Raiden. Am I missing any?
DPS characters you rate highly.
I currently rate highly. Oh, and did I say Lyney? I am currently considering Lyney as up there as well.
By Raiden you mean
Navia? I said Navia, yeah? If I didn't say Navia, I should have said Navia. Alhaitham, Navia, Hu Tao, Lyney, Raiden, somewhat.
By Raiden
I missed him? Okay.
By Raiden you mean the Constellation Zero Raiden?
I mean Constellation Zero Raiden Aggravate.
Okay.
I think Raiden Aggravate, not as good as the Guy variant. It's certainly not bad, and a lot of players do intentionally choose to play Raiden and invest very heavily in her, and it is nice to have that kind of team on an account that can clear.
I would probably add Shao and Wanderer to that bunch.
I can't in good confidence. I like Wanderer. I like Xiao. Nah. I'm sorry, not my opinion right now. I have C2 Wanderer. I'm looking forward to playing Wanderer with Farina a lot. I pulled Cashflow for Wanderer and Riesling. Also, because I didn't have Tulla. I don't know about that, right? Like, that kind of high praise right now for him. But, maybe I'm wrong.
By right now, you mean in terms of current Abyss lineups, or?
Current Abyss lineups, and just, yeah, basically current Abyss lineups.
Mm-hmm. But in a general sense, I think they can be on that level. I agree that...
It depends on whatever... It's incredibly subjective, so I can respect it.
Mm-hmm. What about Klee Monopyro?
I think Klee is just worse Lyney.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day,
Okay.
I think Lyney is kind of just a better character.
Okay. Well, let's see. Ayaka, I already know what you think about Ayaka, so I won't even bother asking about it.
What do I think about Ayaka, huh?
No, because we already talked. We already talked about it last time. Like we.
Oh yeah, we did talk.
Is...
I think Ayaka's good conditionally. She's a little fundamentally inconsistent, but
yeah.
Okay. Again, very similar to Raiden.
Same opinion. This.
Very similar to Raiden. A lot of people went, "Oh my god, Ayaka super invest." So a lot of accounts have a very playable Ayaka that is more than adequate to 36-star easily. Which is really nice whenever... I do a lot of viewer miss on weekends, and people are like... When people have a roster of built characters, generally, if it's like players who start playing in 2.0, they'll have a built Raiden and Ayaka. If it's somebody who started playing more recently, they'll have a built Nahida, Yelan, and then a lot of players have Hu Tao as well, but they don't build her as well as they probably should be. But we end up using her to clear anyway in a lot of cases.
And what do you think about international currently?
This is a trap.
No. This is a good
am I in a safe space? I want to make sure before I say this.
This is a good faith question.
Okay. If anyone pulled Tartaglia because of me,
okay,
on his last rerun, I sincerely apologize. I am sorry. I am sorry if I convinced you to pull this character on his last rerun.
I'm not aware of this. What happened?
He is.
Is this why you said it was a trap?
Yes.
I generally didn't know about whatever you're saying.
Regarding Tartaglia, if you've been playing for 3 years, international is great. If you are in any way a less Primogem resin invested player, holy shit, this team fucking sucks.
Yeah. I think it's most of all, like the thing I disagree the most with the community perception of international the most is that people think this team can just steamroll through that base.
Yeah, people think that damage is disposable. It's about how fast you can do your damage, and you have infinite energy because you're killing everything in one rotation. Like
I think unless the investment on it is particularly high, it can be very frustrating to play.
I don't think that it's... Well, the frustrating aspect is the enemy design, where Tartaglia just dies a lot because all the enemies react off you whenever you play Bennett, and he has no defensive utility and he doesn't build a ton of HP. Like that, I think that's the frustrating part of it.
Yeah, anything with Bennett suffers from that.
Yeah,
like Bennett and an on-field carry that doesn't have 1 million HP. Like they're liable to just receive a lot of damage, and Tartaglia having no interruption resistance as well just feels very vulnerable.
Mm-hmm. The other thing is people underrate Shungling, how much energy recharge Shungling actually needs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you have a similar experience.
Yeah, usually I use Engulfing Lightning on Shungling when I play international, so I'm fine. But like if you just expect to be able to put 200 AR on Xiangling and be fine all the time, like, you're going to have troubles.
That's not it. Yeah. The other thing is, Xiangling is one of the most constellation-dependent 4-stars in the game, period. She's inherently... you get one for free, which is nice, but she's inherently unfriendly because of this.
Yeah, literally every constellation of hers.
You can't just jump into the game and expect Xiangling to be a god. It's just not going to happen.
Literally every constellation of her is good.
No. That I just... C1 is good. It's C3 and C5. Yeah. It's C3 and C4. These are the ones. This is all... These are the ones you want. These are the ones you need. At this point, when I'm doing Viewer Abyss, if the Xiangling is not at least C3, I will generally just not play her. Because there's no reason to play her. She's not doing damage, and she's acting as more of a detriment in a lot of teams.
At low constellations.
Yes.
Yeah, I can see that. I always saw the Constellation 4 and the Constellation 3. The Constellation 6 is nice, but mainly Constellation 3 and Constellation 4 as the very good ones, I guess. Constellation 2 and Constellation 5, I guess, are forgettable, sure. But if you don't have at least Constellation 3 or 4, she will feel bad.
Yeah. Those are the, like, that's the thing with International, in my opinion, right now. I find it wholly unrecommendable for anyone who hasn't been playing for years. Because of how resin inefficient it is.
I wouldn't ever recommend it to a beginner, ever.
Yeah. If someone was like, I want to get into speedrunning, and I've been playing for 3 years, look at how good my artifacts are, top 100 on every Akasha board, sure, International's fine. It can even be one of the fastest clearers for chambers.
Low constellation speedrunning, it is fine for sure.
But it's just... It's not it. It's not.
It kind of picks a low constellations for speedrunning to do it.
The low constellation argument is a trap, somewhat. Is it that inefficient since you can always farm Emblem? It's not since you can always farm Emblem. It's not that. It is also just the sheer amount of artifact investment you need. It's not just you can farm Emblem casually. You need to live in Emblem. You need to be there. That is the only set you will ever farm for a year. That it is a cringe character with deceptively little defensive presence. Yeah, I agree.
We can probably do the point of the iceberg meme with International. Like where the point of the iceberg is, ooh, nice Xiangling babes, and then there's a whole underwater area of incredibly grim scenarios.
Yeah. Ooh. I know it's been abyssing at some point caved in Emblem. That is what I mean by years old accounts. You have defeated the purpose, or like the context that I'm explaining. You need constellations, you need good weapons, you need perfect artifacts. Yeah. Like, the idea that International is cheap is deceptive at best, misleading at worst. Because of that sheer amount of resin investment. And like it or not, resin is Primo Gem in a lot of cases, because it's either time or literally Primo Gems.
Right.
Congratulations, you have a 4-cost team that took a year to build. Or 2 years to build to a decent state. Because if you aren't one cycling, you're taking over a minute to clear in a lot of cases. Or at 2 cycling, you're taking over a minute to clear. Like, that's... assuming you don't die.
Alright, I have to go now.
Oh, you have to go?
Yeah, I am.
Is there anything we want to say to wrap up?
We talked a lot. Like, talked about a lot of things.
Yeah, it's been an hour 45. Any, like, closing remarks you want to add, I guess? Navia forever?
A closing remark is that it was fun to do this experiment with
yeah, I figured it would be a fun talking point.
Like, Yeah, we should do more of this, like fun experiments, I guess, because it generates nice conversation and original conversation as well. Not the same old. Furina is overpowered. We get it, but these experiments are nice.
Good luck on your polls. How much are you planning to pull?
What?
Are you just getting C0?
I think I'm getting seed 0. I'm probably spending some. Like, I don't look at the current pulls I have that much anymore. Like, I just spend what I have to spend if I want a character.
Oh,
the way approach.
I have 500 wishes saved from topping
500.
up. From top, it's
6.
Yes, I am. That's why I've been streaming so much. So that's what we're working for. So I will be testing C0 for a day or half a day, and then I will be doing constellations.
Yeah, I will make sure to check on your gameplay for her. I'm very interested, especially the Constellation 6 one.
Yeah, I might try to do like a Constellation 6 guide video, because no one else is going to have it, or like no one else involved in theory crafting making that kind of content will have a video for it.
Yeah, it would be interesting. I'm probably making a video about Constellation soon, but I'm very interested to see what you have to show in that sense, because Constellation 6 is
I'm also my plan for other content over the weekend of Arena release, not this weekend obviously, is I want to do as many viewer misses as I can in so we get to, even if the account has Farina, we get the experience of what Farina looks like on these more casual accounts that are struggling to clear. I think that is a very valuable perspective to get that I want to do as well.
Yeah, because when there is an Archon, like the perspective of how good it is on a beginner banner, that is important, I think. Because a lot of people are starting in the anniversary patch or whatever, in Fontaine patch, so they're going to pull Furina as one of their first 5 stars.
It's not even like Archon, it's every content creator is telling me this character is ridiculously overpowered. I'm going to pull this character, like, let's pull this character. And then I want to see how Farina handles on those kinds of counts I've been playing for, like, let's say, even if they've been playing for longer than a year. Just if they're struggling to 36 star, I want to play on those accounts.
That would be a good title for a video. I tried Farina on 10 accounts. How good is she?
Ooh, that's a good title. Speaking of titles, have you seen Braxophone's newest video?
No.
Hold on. I'm going to
Braxophone. Let's check it.
Here. I'll DM you the video. I want to see your reaction to this thumbnail and title.
I got married?
Yes, that's the one. Yeah. Yeah.
What? Nice.
That's the one. He got married.
Oh, that's the art of being a good YouTuber that knows the good titles and the good thumbnails.
It's so good. It's so good. I love it. He posts for C6R5 Jing Leo. But I love the title and the thumbnail. Oh my god, it's so funny. Good shit. Good shit, Braxophone.
Nice. Yeah.
Ugh.
He popped off with Star Rail, and
yeah, he did.
Like, it was already big with Genshin, but with Star Rail, huge. Anyway, I really have to go now.
Anyway, yep. Take care. Thank you very much for hanging out. I appreciated this.
Nice. Take care.
We will talk soon.